Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into one of the most intense and alarming developments coming out of the region, a moment that is reshaping how analysts, militaries, and even civilians understand the current conflict. An IDF convoy was hit in a sudden and violent clash, and what's raising even more concern is the emerging evidence suggesting the use of far more advanced Palestinian weapons than previously seen. This event has created shockwaves not just on the battlefield, but across political circles, strategic discussions, and public opinion. In this video, we're going to explore exactly what happened, why it matters, and what it may mean for the days ahead. The paragraphs will be short, the pacing will be intense, and the entire script will unfold with emotional weight and dramatic clarity. The clash began with what seemed like a routine movement of Israeli military vehicles, a convoy traveling through an area that had seen rising tension over the past several days. Reports indicate that the IDF was repositioning forces as part of an ongoing operation, expecting only minor resistance. But what followed stunned even experienced soldiers. The convoy came under heavy fire in a matter of seconds, and this was not the typical ambush pattern most analysts are familiar with. It was precise, coordinated, and executed with weapons that appear to be far more advanced than anything used in previous confrontations. Almost immediately, video clips emerged across social media showing smoke rising from the disabled vehicles. The blasts were strong, controlled, and clearly targeted. Israeli sources confirmed that the convoy did suffer damage, and the immediate question that spread across newsrooms and intelligence circles was simple. How did Palestinian fighters manage to deploy weapons that could hit armored vehicles with such force and accuracy? This question is now at the center of heated discussions. Several eyewitnesses described hearing the sound of projectiles cutting through the air moments before the explosions. These weren't crude rockets or improvised devices. The sound was sharper, faster, and more focused. Military experts who analyzed the available video suggested the possibility of guided anti-armor systems or upgraded munitions, something that would mark a major shift in the capability of armed groups in the region. If confirmed, this means the conflict has entered a new and far more dangerous phase. The Israeli military responded quickly. Troops secured the area, drones were launched overhead, and units were ordered to prepare for the possibility of further attacks. But even with rapid reinforcement, the shock of the ambush lingered. The IDF is not unfamiliar with risk, but the precision of this attack suggested something more threatening than usual. It suggested planning, training, and access to technology that could change the tactical balance on the ground. On the Palestinian side, sources close to the fighters hinted at new weaponry entering the battlefield, though they did not specify where it came from or who supplied it. Some suggested that different factions have been experimenting with modifying imported systems to make them more effective. Others hinted at support from external actors. Whatever the origin, what matters most at this moment is that these weapons have now been used in combat, and they have shown their potential. The political response has been immediate and intense. Israeli politicians called emergency meetings, demanding answers from military leadership. Security experts warned that if Palestinian groups now have access to advanced anti-vehicle or anti-armor weapons, it could force the IDF to alter its operational strategies entirely. Protective measures that once provided reliable security may no longer be effective against a new generation of threats. This incident also reverberated beyond Israel and Palestine, reaching the international community. Several global powers expressed concern about the sudden change in battlefield dynamics. They worry that such developments could escalate the conflict further, making negotiations even more difficult and heightening the risk of a larger regional confrontation. Whenever advanced weapons enter an active war zone, the consequences are unpredictable and often devastating. Meanwhile, the footage from the clash continues to circulate online, fueling debate, anger, and fear. Each clip shows the same devastating moment. An IDF vehicle struck with shocking precision. People on both sides of the conflict felt the emotional impact. For Israelis, it was a reminder that the fight is becoming more dangerous than expected. For Palestinians, many saw it as a sign of rising strength after years of feeling overpowered. But for families in the region, ordinary people with no desire for war, it was simply another reminder that the violence is far from over. In the hours that followed, analysts began piecing together the timeline. The convoy moved shortly after dawn. The first strike hit the lead vehicle, immobilizing it and trapping the rest of the convoy behind it. Seconds later, additional rounds struck the middle and rear vehicles, effectively pinning the formation in place. This tactic mirrors advanced ambush techniques used by trained militaries, not irregular groups. That's what alarms experts the most. Some speculate that fighters may now have access to thermal sights, laser-guided systems, or even advanced RPG variants capable of defeating certain types of armor. If this is accurate, it means the battlefield is shifting dramatically, and every movement of Israeli forces becomes more complex and risky. Fighting groups with such weapons don't need large numbers. They need only patience, precision, and the element of surprise. Israel's military spokespeople attempted to calm public concern, emphasizing that they are investigating the incident thoroughly. They stressed that the IDF will adapt quickly and that security will be tightened, but their tone carried an undeniable seriousness. This was not just another ambush. It was a warning signal that the conflict is evolving in ways that demand urgent attention. On Palestinian media channels, the tone was drastically different. Some commentators celebrated the attack as a symbolic moment. They framed it as proof that resistance fighters are not outmatched, that they can develop or acquire tools capable of challenging even one of the region's strongest militaries. But beneath the celebration was another tone, one of caution, because every escalation invites retaliation, and retaliation in this region often brings widespread devastation. The aftermath on the ground was grim. Smoke filled the air hours after the clash. Soldiers moved carefully, worried about possible secondary strikes. Drone footage showed damaged vehicles spread across the narrow roadway, a clear sign of how quickly the situation spiraled. Engineers examined fragments of the weapon that struck the convoy, searching for any clue about its origin. What they find will shape the next military strategy. International observers are already urging restraint, but their voices often fade into the storm of political pressure. The reality right now is that both sides feel cornered, pressed by fear, anger, and the weight of history. When advanced weapons enter a conflict defined by mistrust, the danger multiplies, miscalculations become more likely. Civilian areas may become battlegrounds once again. The cycle of retaliation grows harder to break. This single clash, this one moment of destruction, has sparked conversations that go deeper than the battlefield. People are asking who is supplying weapons, who is training fighters, and what this means for long-term stability. Every answer leads to more questions. Nothing is simple in this conflict, and nothing stays the same for long. The emotional weight of this incident also lies in what it symbolizes. For many Israelis, it reinforces the feeling that enemies are becoming stronger and more unpredictable. For Palestinians, it symbolizes a rare moment of tactical advantage after years of feeling surrounded and overpowered. But for the people who simply want peace, it represents another deadly step away from hope. As details continue to emerge, one thing is certain: this clash will be remembered as a turning point. The fear now is that it may open the door to even more dangerous confrontations. Militaries will adjust, strategies will evolve, and the weapons used in this conflict will continue to grow in complexity. But behind all of this are the lives of ordinary people, people who have endured decades of instability and now face an even more uncertain future. For now, all eyes remain on the investigation. If advanced weapons are confirmed, the ripple effects will be enormous. New alliances may form, old strategies may collapse, and the battlefield may transform into something even more unpredictable and volatile. This is the reality of modern conflict. When technology advances, even small groups can shift the balance of power. As the story develops, one thing is clear: this is more than a simple ambush. This is a signal, a warning, a reminder that the conflict is evolving faster than many expected. And as long as these weapons continue to appear in the hands of fighters, the risk of further escalations will grow. The world is watching closely, and so are we. As updates emerge, we will continue to break them down and help you understand the deeper implications. This moment will shape the next phase of the conflict, and its echoes will be felt far beyond the battlefield. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay aware, and stay connected as this developing story continues to unfold with dangerous speed and emotional weight.